You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, well, happy Monday. That isn't exciting. Come on.
No, I want to start off up top. First of all, sorry about last week. Easter.
We know better.
Yeah, Easter plans. We normally can get through Easter no problem, but I don't know, just things happen. We had some friends from out of town come up, and just things kept, like, my time and their time, and that's why I wish my office could be isolated to a certain spot, and I wasn't trying to be rude. I didn't want to be rude, so things kept getting pushed, and I was like, you know what, we'll cancel.
That's understandable. And getting to see people.
Yeah, so I apologize. If anyone was missing us last week, I apologize. Second of all, and all this stuff is unrelated, mind you, so I'm just going to kind of go through a few little tidbits. I got my vaccine, my first dose.
Yay!
And that was last Wednesday.
For you?
Not this past Wednesday, but the past Wednesday, the 31st of March.
So you're almost ready for your second.
On the 28th of this month, I can go get my next one.
I didn't know how far apart they were supposed to be.
Yeah. And unrelated, if I don't seem all that enthusiastic, I've been fighting allergies. That's why I say this is unrelated.
Right.
So the past few days, I'd say even starting Wednesday, you could just feel it. The pollen's in the air and everything, and it was just like you get that scratchy throat, and you're just like, man, come on, man. Yeah. It's like I'll take all the other symptoms, but for whatever reason, the itchy, scratchy throat is what bothers me the most. I do not like it because it feels like it's something I cannot deal with. Fevers or chills or something like that, I got a plan of attack. Yeah, I can do something. That, it's just like, well, suck on some lozenges. It's like, yeah, but God. Yeah. You know, and it gets old after a while, and you get that taste in your mouth, and you're just like, damn, I don't want to do this anymore. So a lot of my symptoms are gone. I just feel kind of like, meh. Yeah. So if I don't seem all that enthusiastic, that's why. And then I've been irritable all week. All weekend.
We're allowed. It happens.
Yeah, I think the medicine also does that too, because I've been taking like the antihistamines, and I try to find the non-drowsy stuff, but the stuff still
even kind of makes you feel dried out though. Even.
Yeah.
So you may not get drowsy, but then you feel like, well, now just all the moisture is gone from my body, and I'm still coughing because now it's dry.
Here, let me show you. You see this cup here? You see how large this cup is? I have been drinking these constantly and feel like I'm always thirsty. I mean, this is like a 44-ounce cup, people. This is a giant cup, and I drink them.
It's an American-sized cup.
Yeah, I'm just pounding them back like, you know, I'm a drunk girl at a college frat party, and it's not enough. Oh. It's not enough.
Well, at least you're keeping well hydrated.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I just feel like I've been irritable, and I don't mean to be irritable, but it's like every little thing has just been setting me off. You know, like even I'm admitting to this, my daughter, she's been doing these, she's a kid. She's a kid. I know she's a kid, but she's doing kid things, and it's like, don't do that. You know, like, I'm going to go make a mess over here. I'm going to go play in the bathroom. And it's like, no, stop. But then it's amplified, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just so angry.
Right.
I'm just so irritated. Please stop doing these kid things.
I want to relax and feel better. Stop it.
Stop making messes. But I'm trying.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
This too shall pass.
So with all that said, I mean, we got a little catching up to do of things that we didn't get to talk about and all that.
I know.
So I did want to mention, like, one of the reasons that the friends were down is we went to and I know this is gonna sound bizarre to some people, but I'm feeling it out, and I was very careful. We went to a convention, very small convention. Okay, and it was, people were wearing masks. People were very respectful, and I didn't get COVID because it's been 2 weeks.
Since the convention?
Since the convention.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, you should be all right by now. But
plus, I had the vaccine in my body, or at least part of it. So hopefully that kind of was like,
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
Hopefully. I'm not saying it was a...
The point of getting the vaccine is to hopefully not get it.
Yeah. So I know I still got another dose, and that's not how it works completely. But again, we're feeling it out. Like, I was still uncomfortable. I still had my guard up, and I was like, I'm not, we're gonna try this out, but I'm not gonna rush out and just start doing this. I just want to see what it's gonna be like. So it was a very small. It was like 2 little rooms, and they limited your time there. So like the block that we had, we could only go in between a certain amount of time. So there were only certain people who could be at the convention at a certain time. Beyond that,
like they were cleaning everything pretty well behind everybody.
So they tried to keep the crowd small, the space open, so people could kind of go in and out. Like, I didn't feel like I was elbow deep in people. And so that was nice.
Yeah.
I saw some familiar faces at a horror convention. Some people that I admire and like in the horror industry, like Kane Hodder, the guy that played Jason 4 times.
Okay.
He actually took a picture. I'll have to show that to you. He got a picture taken with Calliope. And, of course, she didn't look at anything. She was just, like, looking off to the side while he's sitting there smiling with her. And he,
we know this picture's just for you anyway.
But it was, I mean, we told her who it was. She likes Jason for some weird reason. Like, she's, I guess, because, her dad likes Jason.
Ship off the old block, huh?
Yeah, probably. But we were like, this is the guy that plays Jason. This is him. And she's like, okay. And then he was just like, you want a picture? And, I mean, this was free of charge. He just like,
oh, wow.
You want a picture with her? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So that way, hopefully when she grows up, she can appreciate that picture, even though she looks like a goon.
Right. But she's a kid. We're allowed to forgive misses.
There were a few other people there. Michael Berryman, I don't know if you know him by name, but he's essentially the face for the movie The Hills Have Eyes. You know the guy?
Oh, yeah.
That guy? And he's an absolute delight. He's an absolute sweetheart. And he actually told Calliope and her little friend, like a kind of a moving speech about, your generation's going to do great things, and I'm so grateful for you and things like that. I guess try to motivate them, and at the same time, he was like, I know you're not going to remember this, but
So this is just for me, really.
Yeah. He's like, just so you're aware. He's like, maybe something will get through, but it was nice regardless.
Right.
And then I'm trying to think of anybody else that I met that I thought was cool. I mean, there were cool people there. And probably one or two that I wanted to meet that I guess my nerves were just like,
Isn't it so funny we get like that? It's like just another human being.
But they're legendary to me.
Right. No,
like
I get it.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations.
But I will say, and I'm going to say it right here publicly in front of everybody, Zach Galligan, the guy that played Billy Peltzer from Gremlins, is a complete and utter asshole.
Oh, no.
Okay? And I will say it to his face if I ever see him again. Do you know why I say
really
this?
Don't.
Because he had zero interest in me, my wife, or my kid unless we were buying something.
Yes.
Buying his signature, buying a photograph, paying for a picture, whatever the hell it was. We couldn't just be fans coming up and being like, hey, nice to meet you, and just trying to, because
Yeah.
again, it was still the kind of nerves thing. I had met him once before, and I got that vibe, but I just kind of let it pass. This just confirmed it.
Yeah.
Because
So two times now is kind of,
yeah, it was just like, have no interest, but then when you whip out the money, hey, because I watched him do it with other people.
I get that's why you're there, but you should probably not let it show that obvious.
And some people
I mean-
people are there to meet these people as fans. I mean, I'm sorry. I even thought about it at the time, and I was watching all these people go around buying pictures and autographs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want more stuff. I have no interest in collecting more stuff that these people have signed. I just want the experience of meeting that person, knowing that they were a great person, and I got to meet them even once. We get a photograph or not, fine, whatever. But just to have that interaction, that conversation, I wish I could have better conversations with these people. Like, think of great things to talk about, but I don't. I can't think of anything. But that interaction is what I'm going to keep with me. The autographs and everything mean fuck all to me.
Right.
It doesn't, because it's just things.
Right.
And I'm not taking it with me. See, here comes the
little tickles.
the tickles. That's why I got the water. But anyway, yeah, he's a
That's unfortunate.
He's
I
a-
almost feel like cons, though. It's like we pitch them as like the best way to meet these people, but I almost feel like it's really not, because it is kind of just like this money machine that's getting pumped. I mean, I've even read where some of these celebrities make way more at these cons than they do filming the shows they're there for. So
that's insane.
yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, but
That
whatever.
is
Screw him.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Anyway, outside of that, the other thing that we didn't get to talk about last week is Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I haven't yet. The Hub's big fat went and watched it without me, although I should have known. And to be fair, I don't know that I expressed such a huge interest in it that it would have clicked with him to be like, I should wait.
Yeah.
But no.
No.
Long answer to that.
Now, I sound disappointed. I've only watched it once, which the reason I haven't watched it a second time is I've been waiting for my father to watch it with me, because he said he would. And, well, that's not happening. That's another disappointment that's crushing me. But, hey, we won't get into that.
Okay.
But, anyway, no, it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had one disappointment, what do you think it was?
If it's the same thing the Hub said, maybe just that you saw everything coming. It was very formulaic.
Yeah, there kind of was that, but no, it was one very, very particular thing.
Oh, then maybe not having seen it might be my barrier here, because I was like, I probably know what Steven would have picked, but not having watched it, I don't have a reference.
We'll just say I've been touting it for weeks on another podcast.
Is that one out yet? For the new one?
For the Godzilla vs. You know what?
Yeah.
Here we go again. I thought I missed it.
Okay, because I was like, I've been watching the tweets. I didn't see the new one.
Last week, I thought I'd missed it because, and everything got busy, and I was like, well, I don't have time. I said, I don't really even know what I could say about it at the time. But I guess hopefully I can get my entry in by tomorrow. I think he moved up the timetable, so
okay,
next week we should have that. I'll try to throw something in. It wasn't a bad movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
My disappointment is based on this one thing, and even as I've had time to reflect, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Damn it. I'm trying to accept the realization. I know, but I guess at the same time, it's just like, all these arrogant sons of bitches in their mouths, and they just got confirmation.
I feel like I'm getting more confused.
You'll know. I'll explain it later. But anyway, yeah, that's I think that's about it. Oh, yeah. One last thing I just want to touch on real quick, since while I'm thinking about it, this is actually something I would have talked about this week. Have you ever seen the Ren and Stimpy documentary, Happy Happy Joy Joy?
I have not seen the documentary, no. To be fair, I don't even know that I knew there was a documentary about it.
There's a documentary just about everything anymore.
That's probably
weird.
true. So no.
I stumbled upon, like, I had heard about it, and I'd always wanted to see it because I was curious, like, to what degrees they would actually go into it. And I found it on, I think it was Vudu, and you could watch it free with ads, which I'll be honest with you, their free with ads plan is so annoying because they just interrupt what you're watching.
It's not even like at a good point to break, right? It's just like they'll be in the middle of a sentence and then bam, a commercial.
3 advertisements. Like, what? Come on, man. At least on
pick a scene break.
Yeah, at least on Tubi, they'll sit there and be like, hey, in about 10 seconds, we're going to run an ad, okay? And go.
Oh,
so
like,
you're preparing for it.
Okay.
And it's usually at a good break. Like where a scene is going to break. But no, not this. They'll just interrupt. Like I started trying to finish it up. Like I'd watched half of it and I was going to finish it up. And no more than 5-10 minutes after I got started, it was like, here's another ad break. And I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
So anyway, outside of that, I'm talking about the documentary. It was fascinating and heartbreaking at the same time. And I say heartbreaking in the sense that, and I had heard this recently because I think it only came out last year. But I guess this is where a lot of this information came out from, and maybe even more information from articles or whatnot. But I've always had an admiration for John Kricfalusi, the guy that created the show, and the art style and everything, and the people that worked on it. I mean, it's just, if you ever watched Ren and Stimpy, if you've never watched Ren and Stimpy, if you love animation, you've not watched it. That's what I guess I'm trying to get at. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice because the animation, every little things that they do in there, it's a fascinating, amazing, original animated program. And he just turned out to be a piece of shit.
Aww.
And they even spoke to him. That was the mind-blowing thing. I was sitting there watching about it because I was like, holy shit. Because they lead up to the POS crap, by the end of it. So it's not like they start with that. Because they talk about, this is a guy who was obsessed with these old cartoons from way back when, the animation process, how he got started, what his plans were. And when you even listen to the production side of it as he was making Ren and Stimpy for Nickelodeon, these people were just like, this is groundbreaking, this is innovative. But at the same time, the guy was obsessive about every little detail, and he was like a dictator when it came to, this is garbage, because he demanded perfection,
right,
from all these animators. And there's a part of it that worried me a little bit because I put myself in that position, saying, Christ, that could be me. Like, because I could sit there and see myself doing the same thing. Like, if I had a group of people,
and it was your baby,
project, I could be like, God, and because they said, people would be leaving at midnight, they were done, and he was still obsessing over the details, making sure every little thing, like shows got delayed because of this, because he wanted it to be perfect.
Okay. And
then they talked about his falling out with Nickelodeon, where he got fired because. And I remember this episode, and it was I thought it was a hilarious, great episode. But at the same time, I do understand where Nickelodeon was coming from at the time, because it really is not a child-appropriate episode. But it was. I don't know if did you ever watch Ren and Stimpy?
A little bit. Unfortunately, it didn't speak to my humor as a child growing up. It was a little gross for me.
Yeah. And I understand that. That's...
Which is why I like finding out he was even so much more picky about its quality is just in my head. I've been laughing this whole time where I'm like, really? That stuff he was getting picky over? Yeah, okay.
It really depends on where you're looking at the humor, because you could easily do gross out humor and just be like, make it simple. But there were elements to it where they'd throw in little innuendos, and you'd be like, how the hell did they get past the censors with that, or something like that?
Well, sometimes you gotta know the parents need a couple laughs when they're being forced to watch this stuff with their kids.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like that's a good cartoon, honestly, if they can
Sure.
throw enough in just for like the parents to have a good time along the way too. That'll totally go over a child's head, or should.
Yeah, it should.
Or should.
But there was this one episode called Man's Best Friend, and he created this character called George Liquor, and that was already a red flag. Okay, George Liquor.
Yep.
So we're like, no, you can't have that character. The idea is that this guy, he was all-American, and he goes and he adopts a dog and a cat, Ren and Stimpy, and he's going to teach them obedience, and he's going to put them through obedience training. And the ways in which he goes about it is just
a little adult, a little too much.
hyper violent, not like blood and guts and everything like that, but just like pushing the limits of where you can go to violence in one of these type of cartoons.
Okay.
And psychological,
Oh,
like,
damn.
like a great example. And he's like, here, I'm going to teach you guys, like obedience. Like, here's a couch. Don't sit on the couch. Okay. And they're just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, okay, now, so you learn, get on the couch. And they look at each other like, no, you said don't get on the couch. He's like, nope, get on the couch. And they're just sitting there getting terrified, like, what do we do? What do we do? Because he said don't get on the couch, but he's telling us to get on the couch. So what do we do? And then eventually, Stimpy just just dive bombs at the couch and just lays there like, ah.
Like, just ready. Like, I don't know if I did the right thing.
And he just looks around and he's like waiting, and suddenly the guy jumps up and he goes, get off the couch. So it's like that psychological scarring.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But at the end of it, Ren had so much, like he literally beats the shit out of this guy with a 2x4. I mean, just, and this is where the animation actually is really impressive, because they do like the slow motion thing, and you see the 2x4 smack his face, and you just see all the wrinkles and
wave and
I don't know. It's impressive to me in that regard. But anyway, they said no, like they didn't even approve it, and he still made it anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then when he came there, and it was like, yeah, and they're like, no, we're not going to air this. And he's like, all right, well, F you and see ya. And they were just like, okay, well, I guess you're fired. If that's the way you're going to be. And then, of course, that created a rift between him and the people who are going to take over, or the people. I don't know. It seemed real messy, because everyone had a different story.
Sure.
Like, you had some that sided with John, and others that sided with the other camp. Ironically, his name was Bob Camp. But that's not where it ended, because after you heard all that, I mean, obviously the show stayed on the air for quite some time, and then he got the rights back. He tried to do an adult version of that, and he did other stuff with those characters, like the George Liquor. He made like a show about George Liquor.
Okay. Well.
And all this other stuff. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it was very adult, lowbrow humor, that kind of stuff. And then apparently during all this, he had a kind of a relationship with a 14-year-old girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Like at some point, like she had sought him out, being a fan, and he just roped her in and moved her out to where he was living, and she lived with him for like 6 or 7 years. It was disappointing, because it was like, man, and she wasn't the only one, apparently, because I guess according to her, after they had parted ways, no more than like a week later, he had another one.
Oh, good God. So just a gross predator, even.
Although he would claim that, he that was not his intention. It's like, but dude, she's underage. You knew
And there's like
she
an
was
unhealthy
underrated.
power balance there too. That nope, dude, on you,
Yeah.
on you.
And even I think like the woman who championed Ren and Stimpy for Nickelodeon, like who helped get the job, like helped get him the show and the job and all that. She was like, I'm so disgusted by it all because he used those characters in a way to manipulate and lure these girls in and tainted who they are. See, I can't even talk.
No, it was going so well too. You made it about 20 minutes before it
I know.
started to.
Damn it. This is why I hate allergy season. Damn it.
It is gross.
That's why we should hibernate.
Well, I think we have been for at least a year,
Yeah, it's true.
or at least me anyway. I mean,
Some of us, not all of us, got the
all
luxury
of
of
us.
hibernating.
has had that opportunity.
But yeah, it's a fascinating documentary just to at least hear so many sides of it. But it's disappointing
Yeah,
knowing that
it's very
that's who he
disappointing.
is. So anyway, hey, what have you been playing?
Games. Back to games. Well, let's see. I played through the Tenants a little bit more. They did a couple of updates. I think I'm gonna have to set it down until some other things happen with it, just because like now it's just too much work. It's just too much work. I'm constantly getting bothered all the time to fix an earthquake or roaches or rats. And I'm like, it's just, I don't want to buy any more buildings. It's like, I'm scared. I can't handle all of the requests. I'm like, I'm a tenant. I don't bother my landlord that often. What the crap, man? What's going on? But I also did play through another playthrough of the FMV I Saw Black Clouds, which I guess more like the week before, but Wales was very kind, gave me a key, and played through it. And I tell you that it was an interesting game. It was interesting. I do have to say this up front, trigger warning for topical of suicide, because that is in the game. So just keep that in mind if that's a trigger for you. And there's really, what I dug about this one in difference to the other ones that I've played recently is there really is two different games under there. And there's a point when you're playing through where you can tell where the path diverts. And in my mind, you have like not in my mind. I totally believe this was intentional. There's a supernatural path and a more realistic path that you can take. And the stories do vary quite a bit from each other, that I truly feel like you have to play through it twice. And I like when, especially mediums of this nature, because I mean, let's be real, we're only in it really for the story. There's a lot of gameplay that has to be had, strategy at all, or anything like that, with the exception of maybe trying to unlock more videos later on. But I found that very fascinating that it deviated so much from each other. But I ended up getting the same ending every time. And so I think there's another bug, and I have to go back and check. Maybe it's been updated, so I apologize if I'm speaking and you're like listening and you're like, hey, I freaking fixed that. Why? I apologize. I haven't visited back. But yeah, man, I was so sad. Like, I took both diverging paths because I could tell right where it split. Like, I knew what choice I had to make to get those. Same damn ending. And they were so different from each other that I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. So after a third playthrough, I had to go looking for some help to see if I was in a bugged land or if there was legitimately some choice that I wasn't making to trigger a different outcome. And so I followed through one of the guides to get a different ending. I just said, screw it. Maybe I'll follow it point for point, because sometimes I tend to make one decision that was so different from the rest of them that's the one thing that screwed up getting a perfect run for that ending. And I couldn't do it. The choice I needed to make, the game froze. I was so sad. So I don't want to keep pooping on it though, because like I actually did really very much enjoy the story, as disjointed as it was told, because it's, you know, you just kind of get dropped in the middle of this story and then you go. And you're got to figure it out and piece it together. It's very much a psychological kind of thriller deal. But bummer on that, because it's still, I've done 3 playthroughs now, and I think, or have I done 4 to just kind of pick up another one? And I've only gotten the 2 endings so far. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or if there might be a bug that's causing to trigger the wrong ending. I don't know. It's me. These things happen to me. I don't even blame the developers anymore. I think it's just my existence around technology that sometimes breaks things. But I do recommend it, though. Like, if you're okay with the overall storyline, because like I said, it does deal with suicide. But the 2 diverging paths, I thought, made it very, very worth it. And I enjoyed the way. And I have to tell you, if you take one of the paths, some of the choices you make are so freaking satisfying that I've never gotten out of a game like that before. That, just play it and do the realistic path and go all in. It's so satisfying. It really is. And like, rarely do you get to go all in on a certain situation like that. So I do have to applaud. I don't want to like say spoilers or anything, but I do have to applaud the developers on that. For Ghost Dog Films, by the way. I don't think I've said. Ghost Dog Films is the name of the team. And also, what I found interesting, side note, I think they're coming out with a movie of the same exact name with the same exact characters with all of it. Like, when I was looking it up, because I know like we were going to do like a review on it. Yeah, like I saw Black Clouds was on IMDb, post-production, same actors. Interesting. So maybe wait a couple of months and see how it truly was supposed to be. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of interested to see if that's the exact same thing. But obviously one storyline, maybe. It could be told disjointed, where you have some rewind feature, I guess, and go back, or what if, you know, like a Clue situation. I don't know. But there you go. That's what I really kind of dove into. And, you know, with me and FMVs, I like to try to keep playing them because I want to unlock the other videos and stuff like that to see. So if you like those types of things, I can give it a recommend. I just hopefully you can get through all the endings and not have the bad luck that I had. With that, I do want to go back though, because there is a few videos I'm still missing and stuff to see. But I think at this point, it's like yeses or nos. Mm-hmm. So it's not even going to be an amazing video to unlock. But, you know, that's just how I play FMVs. So I like to see all the videos that they took the time to film and put in the game. So did I try anything else out this week? I felt like I might be getting my 2 weeks blended together too now. From all of that. That, you know what? That's probably good.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else that I played that was new this week, or that I wouldn't have just like put on for a time waster, because I've been doing more cooking and stuff, and I've been getting fat. So I apologize. Last couple weeks haven't been a lot of video games. I've been making cake and eating it all.
But you're trying to trade. Why not?
I am. I think I'm liking the cooking better than the baking. But either way, I'm eating a lot of food, and unfortunately it creates way too many dishes. So I'm on the fence yet. You know, okay. I'm like, cooking at home's good, but my God, I feel like I'm doing dishes like 3 times a day. And then there's still always a full sink when I'm done. And I'm like, but how? You
just have to look at it as, okay, was it worth all the effort? If it tasted great and it was, then yeah. But if it was garbage, and it was like, son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, the pierogies were amazing the second time around.
Okay.
But anyway, we're getting off topic. What have you been playing?
Still Ni no Kuni 2.
Nice.
I'm nearing the end. I think I'm almost positive I'm in the last chapter. Mm-hmm. And I was really, really trying to do all my side quest stuff beforehand, but I think this is one of those games that you have to beat it, and then there will be all this extra stuff. And I was like, man, I think
those are long games. Yeah.
Just want to finish it. all at once. Don't make me do more afterwards. But I guess it really depends on whether or not I want to take that extra step, because I feel like I could, like, if I could platinum this if I wanted to, but it's just whether or not I want to. Because I've looked at what's left and I'm just like, do I? Right. Depending on how much work is involved, if something's going to take some time, then just forget it. Like, I know there was this one that was like, be awakened 20 times. I don't know what that means. So if that means I have to die and then be revived, or be put to sleep and then wake someone up 20 times, you know what? If it's not happening naturally, I'm not going to seek this out, because
that's fair.
Damn it. I'm doing everything you want me to up to this point, and you're going to throw in some garbage like that.
When we start talking about a game like work, that's when it's time to.
Yeah, I don't want. The only work in the game that I've been working on tirelessly but having fun doing it is building my kingdom. Making sure that it's built. And I think I've hit a wall. Like, I can upgrade it one more time, but I don't have all the necessary things. Like, I need 100 citizens, and I'm just a few shy. And I think this is one of those things that they do is like, okay, well, if you want more citizens, you're going to have to beat the game, and then afterwards you can get those last few.
Sure, like a New Game Plus situation or something.
No, it's just they're after next chapter, final after game bullshit, where it's just like, why can't you just give me these characters now? Why does it have to be after the game? I just want to get the 100. I want to upgrade my kingdom completely. But no, you gotta screw me over, and I got to beat the game first. So it's just whether or not I want to go those extra steps. Yeah. Where am I at? I don't know. Because I just don't want to do too much more after I beat the game.
And that's fine.
Play
only what you're enjoying.
Right. And I've enjoyed my time up to this point, but once they start doing this little number, I don't want to do anymore.
Just stay on the path, man. Go to the end.
So we'll see where we get. Maybe I'll be done with it by next week. I would hope, but who knows?
Who knows? Life is busy.
So, what do we got in the way of news? I know
there was quite a lot, and I'll have to say, thankfully, we weren't doing a lot last week, because trying to write news during the week of April Fools, I got rickrolled so many times. So, congratulations to those that it worked on me, because I thought I was pretty much, got my eye out for jokes like that. So I did have to give up for 2 days in a row and be like, I'll come back to that news later. But this week, it didn't seem like people were messing with me. So some of the bigger ones that I saw this week, that Outriders game, right? It's taken over. Yeah. It's been fairly popular. It finally, I guess, did its full release out. But met with kind of mixed reception, it kind of seems. Now, I've seen a lot of people praising it. They've been having a really, really good time with this game. But it has been having a little bit of a rough time with its launch. So kind of just in the eyes of the beholder, it feels like in this situation. Multiple different reports I've seen throughout the week was pointing to a lot of people having a good time, like I said. But others were just kind of waiting to be able to even get in to start a match. James Stephanie Sterling actually has been the most outspoken that I've seen, reporting on how they have been stuck in trying to load a match. And when they did manage to get in a match, fell through the game ground and just kept falling. I don't know if you saw their review on Outriders or not that
no, I haven't watched
put out. Ooh, it was rough. Now, this didn't seem like it was such a broad problem. Maybe with it being Sterling, I just happened to catch that quicker. I do follow them on the socials and everything. But some have been reporting also another bug where your inventories were getting wiped.
Ooh.
Some reporting over 100 hours of game time just lost. So if you imagine in a multiplayer game like this where you're grinding for good gear and going after those legendary items to just... that can be a little maddening, I would say. Some people have actually been reporting this bug since launch. And it seems that Square Enix and the devs, People Can Fly, are just having a rough time figuring it out. Because they did send out a patch last week where the note said fixed multiplayer crashes that can result in client players having their inventory wiped, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Is the problem. They have announced that they're also working on the restoration process in hopes to get players back their hard-earned goods. Although it did come with a warning that not all restored items will have the same stats as the lost items, which is causing even more of a panic, because if you worked so hard to get that legendary with those legendary stats to still not get that same item back, it just a mess. A mess is what it's sounding like. So at the time of this writing, I still haven't seen any kind of PR attempt out of Square Enix on the matter. So if by the time this airs, something's come out between when we record and then, but it just seemed kind of weird to me that there was no official response from that side, you know, trying to address it in some way. But hopefully soon, because the popularity of the game has really taken over, and this might be another case where maybe they should have just delayed it a little longer. I don't know. But I do hope for your player's sake that it does get fixed in soon, because the people that are enjoying it are loving the crap out of it. And I'd hate to see for something like this to keep players from coming back to it, you know?
Right.
Square Enix, come on, you guys.
Yeah, no kidding.
Losing your entire inventory.
I did hear, I was listening to LAN Parties with our buddy Lucas Egan, and his co-host Ryan Smith was talking about this game, and he did mention some struggles early on, like as he was trying to get to play it. But kind of what you said, to Eye of the Beholder, I guess after some of the things kind of got kinked out or worked out, like he was enjoying it when it wasn't buggy, when it wasn't Garbo. Yeah. But he did kind of talk through his experience, like early on, like when he first got it, and was saying he had some struggles with it, but did enjoy it once he could play it.
That seems to be the sentiment I've been hearing. So it really just depends on who you are. Like if you had these connection issues and all this kind of stuff, I think that's where your mixed reviews are coming from, obviously. And if those who've been able to get in, get a match, start playing, they've been having a great time. So I wish I knew more about tech as to why the disconnect happens with some people more than others. Trying to connect to a server, it might be location. I don't know. With multiplayer games like that, you are trying to find servers close enough to your area to hopefully be able to connect with. But I haven't played it myself, so that's the most that I can say on my experience on the matter with this game. So let's just keep our eyes on that space. Hopefully they get that patch for y'all soon, so you can keep that hard-earned legendary gear, because those are hard to get. Yeah. Man. Another good one, though. I'm keeping an eye on that Xbox game, man.
Which one?
How they've been, that Microsoft's been keeping their game going. Rumors, of course, always abound in all of games, and especially this year has been no exception. But I don't know if you have seen that there have been rumors floating around about a possible collaboration between Xbox and Hideo Kojima for a new project. Now, people smarter than I have been finding hints tucked away on Phil Spencer's shelf, where some rumors have already come true from people dissecting what's behind him during major announcements. And these are, of course, from people more astute than I. I don't usually pay attention to what's going on in the background. Now I've learned I probably should. But ever since someone discovered the Xbox Series S that was tucked away on his shelf on the July 1st, 2020 episode of Game Lab Keynote Fireside, and that came true, fans have noticed now a Ludens figure, which is Hideo Kojima's mascot for Kojima Productions, next to a glowing logo of the Xbox. So it was off the rumor mill, but I found out it's kind of an intentional rumor. So video games journalist Jeff Grubb shed more light on this collaboration, which, by the way, still isn't officially confirmed. I do have to say that. It's still not officially confirmed. But in Jeff's latest podcast, Game Mess, he revealed that everything on Spencer's shelf is very intentional. So with all the sleuthing and confirmations of how Phil has been dropping hits, signs actually look good that this collab is a reality.
Okay.
Adding in the fact Kojima's independent, has also shown interest in game subs as a service, like Game Pass. Maybe.
So,
maybe.
weren't there rumors that he was doing something with Sony as well?
I feel like we kept throwing those around too. This is the only one that I've seen where people are like, but Phil's hints behind him have been true. And I've seen this. So I think this is the only one I've seen that might actually have some legs on it. He's independent. I guess he could go wherever he really damn well pleases.
I mean, why not? You know, throw some stuff here, throw some stuff there. Why not?
Especially people, they want you. They want you making games for him. He does good stuff. I mean, granted, I don't get into a lot of his games.
I still
not a
never
problem.
played Death Stranding.
I haven't either.
I
I've watched a lot of it. It looks
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I just don't know if it would be for me.
Exactly.
just
And I feel
don't.
like that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if everybody liked the same game, we'd have one.
I think
And that would be it.
I think it took me, like, I don't even remember when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, but I remember hearing people talk about it, and I was like, it does sound kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't know if it's for me, because I've never been big into Metal Gear. And
Yeah.
then eventually I did. I don't think it was free, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. And I got my hours out of it, but at some
Yeah.
point I was just like, all right, I'm done. Because
Yeah.
they stretch it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can't go any farther, guys.
Like, yeah, I hear ya. I think I even have a couple of them, but again, it just wasn't like a genre that spoke to me. But I know a lot of people who loved it, played the crap out of them, speed ran them, all this kind of stuff. So I can recognize that it was an amazing game that left its mark, and that it generated a lot of fans. So
Yeah.
I can at least recognize that. So more Epic news. I know maybe Epic's not as epic as we thought, but there's been some news now, of course, coming out, different headlines over the last several months. I mean, Epic versus Apple, the whole thing has just been taking over. We are either talking about, Epic buying up exclusivity to drive people to the store, or the legal battles they embroil themselves in, it seems like, on a daily basis. But all these efforts haven't been working out as one would hope as of yet, according to a report since launching the Epic Games Store itself. In December of 2018, they have lost reportedly more than $450 million on the Epic Games Store. Probably likely to increase beyond $500 million mark, they think, before the end of 2021. According to the reports, the store cost Epic about $181 million in 2019, $273 million in 2020. And it is currently projected to lose another $139 million in 2021. So these losses are looking to be directed at their strategies, buying up the exclusivities, the deals that they've been making, free games that they offer quite a bit all month long. I'll admit, I rarely log into Epic unless there's a free game that I saw that they were offering. I'll log in and I'll grab it up. I'm one of those. And they'll do like AAA games, like games that would cost you $50-$60 right now. And they're still holding firm on their 12% revenue share with the developers, though, which I guess at least there's that. You're not going to take back on what you gave just because it's looking a little grim, but they are expecting it to be profitable by 2023. So we will just have to wait and see. Most of these big companies, though, it's always a long game.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the red for many, many years before they blow up. I mean, really and truly. I mean, Amazon was a bookstore. Just going to put that, it takes a lot of time, but now it's a household name. So this long game could end up paying off for them, in a few years. And then, of course, when iOS kicked off Fortnite, that reportedly was a lot that they lost, of course, as well, because they weren't getting those in-app purchases. So Fortnite players as a whole have reportedly spent about $750 million on in-app purchases on the iOS version of the game alone. So
Yikes.
That's a hard chunk of change to lose, I'm sure, too. So just to button it, though, it does seem like the lawsuit that began with Apple has since announced a 15% reduction for smaller devs themselves now, who make less than $1 million in annual sales on the store. So Apple's kind of given a little bit too, or trying to, even if it's to save face, I don't know. But if you're a smaller dev on their platform and you make less than $1 million, they're going to do 15 instead of 30%. So something. Got to take the little wins where you can't, guys. Keep
guess.
patting them on the head, telling them, good boy, good girl, until, they keep on going through. But let's see here. I don't want to talk about Apple anymore. I did write more about their lawsuit and stuff, but aren't we kind of over it now?
Yeah, who cares?
I'll just briefly surmise. So they were supposed to send a representative to court. Senate Judiciary Committee asked for it because of this whole hearing. And then Apple said no and didn't send a witness, which is hilarious since they bothered Valve for how long for all of their games. They had nothing to do with this whole thing either. So there's that. That just begged the question for me. Like, you can't send one person to testify on your behalf after this whole thing. So yeah, that's the TLDR. We don't have to go into the whole thing. You guys are just killing yourselves here. Although this could be fun. Supermassive Games seems to be gearing up for another one. As of right now, it's a secret, unannounced project. Okay. But, of course, it was from hiring that we got our little hints from, putting out blurbs of looking for designers. So they're looking for several positions, some of which include a lead level designer, game logic integrator designer. See, there's some positions I didn't even know were a thing. Look at all these people that go into it. A UI programmer and combat designer. The only hint that I could find is that it will feature real-time combat. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll see. But to be fair, this could be the next installment of the Dark Pictures anthology that they are looking for people for, which the House of Ashes, I think, is due out later this year, right? Mm-hmm. And then could be a sequel to Until Dawn, which is what I'm kind of hoping for.
That'd be cool.
But it could be a new IP altogether, which is also would be very exciting. I know some people haven't been as excited about the Dark Pictures anthology. I liked, personally, Little Hope more than Man of Medan. But I did really dig Until Dawn. So I don't think they've squashed anything for me. So I'm for it. And we'll just see what's up their sleeve in due time. But I would be very happy for an Until Dawn 2 and a new IP. And then we'll probably find out they're just hiring to finish the game they're already working on.
Yeah, that would suck.
I haven't played House of Ashes yet. Nobody has, so I might like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the way that story is. It's the real-time combat. I want to see how that's going to shake out first. Like, is it QTEs? Like, I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Because, like, real-time in my head means those, like, idle things. But I know that's probably not right. Where you got to, like, wait real life hour to get anywhere, you know? Anyway. I hate those games so much. I hate it. No, I just want to play. Make me wait 30 minutes for my gems to pop. Jesus Christ. Anyway. So you might have actually seen this one too. News came out last week about Naughty Dog that was actually working on a remake of the OG The Last of Us.
Yeah, I saw that headline. A remake?
Yeah, like it's not even that old of a game. I feel like the PS4 version looked pretty sharp. I don't know. But Sony's Visual Arts Service Group, which usually supports other Sony studios, didn't stop them actually from attempting a remake about 3 years ago. Not with the Naughty Dog team. So according to the article, the Visual Arts Group founder Michael Mumbauer, and this is of course a Bloomberg report, hired about 30 people from inside Sony and outside to create a division, develop a remake of The Last of Us for PS5. It went underfunded, so Sony then moved it back to Naughty Dog team, which I found very interesting that they were wanting to move it outside of that team in the first place and for as long as they did, for that many years. But now Michael Mumbauer, is no longer at the company, and apparently no one from Sony reached back out to comment here, so there's really no idea of what's going on, I guess, now as it sits. But within this story, it's also looking about the Days Gone devs that had initially pitched a sequel and was denied. So it seems like we're getting more of an underlying story here about Sony just really only wanting large, major AAA blockbuster hits moving forward. And it seems like the smaller teams might be getting shafted here, for the lack of a better word. Like, the more I kept reading coming out this week, it seems like Sony is they're not having a good look right now. And it seems like how they're treating their smaller studios. So Sony Bend is now working with Naughty Dog on a multiplayer game, which is a standalone multiplayer, The Last of Us, which I feel like we kind of heard a little bit about that before, and I don't remember hearing much more about a multiplayer coming out since then. I was kind of hoping they changed their mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people might be excited for it. But there are conflicting reports, as some say the new game that was getting worked on was actually Uncharted, with Naughty Dog overseeing it. Some higher-ups at Sony Bend were reportedly just unhappy about working on Uncharted and just asked to be removed from the game. So, like, there's all of these little internal turmoils that seem to be getting brewed up here. I don't know now. It seems like that Sony Bend is now making just a new game of their own. So hopefully they leave them be, just let them make their game. And Naughty Dog has said it won't make another Uncharted game. So they did come out and they're like, if somebody else is doing it, it won't be us. But the studio previously mentioned that a different studio could come in to make Uncharted. It gets messy. Bloomberg laid it all out in it's a really long article. It's a really long article because it seems like there was so much back and forth here between what Sony wanted, what Sony Bend was pitching that Sony would allow to go through. It seems like they're just not catering to the smaller crowd as much as they used to. I don't know. The new PlayStation Studios boss, though, Herman Hulse, said The Last of Us remake was just too expensive due to its new engine for PlayStation 5 and gameplay redesigns. So instead, they just put Moonbauer's team to work on The Last of Us 2, and then we thought that there was no remake to be had. Y'all.
But there doesn't need to be a remake.
I think that all of this for what?
They did a remaster for the PlayStation 4, and it looked just as good, if not more polished, obviously. But
sure,
how are you going to make it look any better? Like, what are you going to do?
What is the game? 7 years old? 8?
Something like
9?
that, yeah.
Is it even 9?
Might be. I don't know. It's. I remember I was not living in the house that I'm in when it came out.
Right.
But
okay.
It's just
June 14th, 2013. So yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't warrant being remade. Mm-hmm. It still holds up. It's still a good game. I mean, when you look back at certain games, let's use Shadow of the Colossus for a great example. That was a game that deserved a remake because you go back to the PlayStation 2, the blocky nature of the character designs and all that stuff. So you're taking the essence of that game and you're polishing it up, making it look brand new and still adhering to that. The Last of Us doesn't have that. There's nothing about the game looks so amazing. It
still looks
then,
really good, yeah.
And still looks amazing today. What are you remaking?
I mean, if you're trying to just do a port for the PS5, fine. But I feel like if we've been talking about this already for 3 or 4 years, so that would have been 5 years after its release.
No.
I think their efforts are just better put towards new ones. Personally, at this point in time, nobody's asking me, of course, but I'm like, you've got so many great titles. You've got these good people under your belt. Pump out new stuff.
Yeah, new stuff. Hey, Days Gone 2 would be fantastic because despite what anyone might say about it, it was actually a really good game that did have its missteps. It has some issues, but I feel that when you're doing something new and unique, you need a chance to try out the idea and then refine it. This is what we've seen in video games so many times. You have a good idea, you lay it out there, find out what works, what doesn't, and then refine it. And then the sequel will always be better, and then the subsequent sequel, and so on and so forth. That's always the way it seems to work. And that's a game that deserves a sequel. I would love to see where you go with that.
I would love to see them foster that team a little bit more too.
Yeah.
To try to get that greatness out of there too. If these reports, of course, are true with how this internal struggle seems to be going back and forth. Just seems like there's a lot of fires going on over at the studios right now. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what actually comes out of all of this right now. yeah, last little bit of news here. Why not? Twitch may now ban you for serious offenses that take place off the platform. So if you're a streamer, they might be taking into account your other activities outside of the forum. I mean, as most of us know, harassment, abuse, other serious misconduct, and things like that may now get you banned from Twitch. But now, even if it occurs off the streaming platform itself. Their off-service policy has previously taken into account misconduct that spilled over from the platform into other mediums. So if I started my BS on Twitch and continued it on Twitter, that was still considered a Twitch offense, and they could ban you for it. Or I guess vice versa, if I started a spat on Twitter and then brought it onto Twitch and did all this kind of stuff, that's misconduct. Well, now the guideline cites examples of the kinds of severe and criminal misconduct that'll get you booted from the platform, regardless of whether you did it on Twitch or not. The list includes, but this is not everything. Are you a deadly violent person? I feel like cops would probably put you away for that anyway. A membership or leadership in known hate groups. So if you're an advocate for one and you're not even talking about it on Twitch and Twitch finds out about it, that could get you banned. Terrorist activities, which I feel should go without saying. Sexual assault. Another one, especially with the last year that they've had. Keep an eye. And explicit and credible threats against Twitch employees or the wider community. So keep your crap in check, people. To me, it doesn't seem like they're asking anything that wrong.
Yeah.
It's asking you not to sexually assault people, kill people, be part of hate groups, and put it on Twitch, Twitter, or wherever. I know some people might get angry about that, but think about why you're angry first before you think it's a bad thing. I don't know. But there you go. Don't do stupid stuff. You won't get banned or put in jail. Let's do some quick hits.
Okay. What you
We got a couple little quick hits here. I mixed some from last week and this week just in case some people missed. Uncharted's movie was pushed back again, as you probably have seen. It was pushed back a week, though. So in theory, the date was supposed to be, well, I think originally July, right, this year. But now it's February 18th. So they pushed it a week. I guess it was February 12th and then now the 18th. So next year.
But that's running. Yeah, that's a running thing with movies right now, I've noticed.
Right.
Everything's getting... I honestly think that the studios, they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think, honestly, Godzilla vs. Kong gave them hope, which is weird. I never thought in a million years anyone would give this movie the time of day. But keep this in mind, okay? Think about this. I don't know if you heard this or not. The opening weekend for Godzilla vs. Kong, it took in more money, its opening weekend, than Godzilla King of the Monsters did its first weekend. And that's at half capacity.
That's what I was just going to say. And that was released to home viewers, too, that have HBO, right?
HBO Max, during a pandemic when theaters aren't really at full capacity. And it brought in more than the last movie.
Wow. Yeah.
So just imagine how big of a blockbuster this may have been, or maybe it's because we've been, locked behind,
Yeah, we'll have to see once we're set free again how all these services fare.
There are a lot of factors that could be coming into play here. I would really like to think that people were eager to see this movie regardless of what way you were spinning, but
probably.
That's pretty good. So now theater owners are like, holy crap, maybe we can get out of this. And I understand the concern, and we've talked about this before. I understand the concern about theaters going under, but I was listening to another podcast, I think it was last week, and they were talking about this very thing, and this one guy pointed out point blank, he said, people want to go out. People want to get away, and I don't think theaters are going to die until we just become closeted creatures that never want to go out again, because it's nice having that option. But if I knew for a fact that I could have went to see Godzilla vs. Kong in the theater safely and I wouldn't have to worry about anything, I would have went.
Oh, yeah.
because I want to see it on the big screen.
Right.
You know, I don't have that. I can create like a home theater all day long, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, just being there on my television, yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But
At least they're trying.
you know,
Something.
and same with Black Widow. You know, if a few months down the road, I don't want to miss out on the one like this. If I don't watch that in theaters, this will be the one Marvel movie I've not seen in theaters. So, and I'd like to keep that trend going. But it just depends on where I'm at come July.
Sure.
You know, and I'll be vaccinated.
Yeah.
But is everybody else still being safe? Is everything being cool? Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's whether or not do I want to pay the $30 to watch it on Disney Plus, or do I just go out and pay less, because I technically would pay less to go out to the theater. Because I'll give Disney that. There, it's a little bit of a racket, $30.
Well, Disney's smart. They
Yeah.
know what's up.
So it's fair.
Don't
But-
worry, they'll vault it and release it again in 10 years for the same price. You know.
But while you're on the subject of Sony, I just want to touch on this real quick. I don't know if you saw this deal. If you haven't noticed, because I didn't really think about it, I was like, yeah, this is actually true. Sony is probably one of the few studios that doesn't really have a streaming service, because Warner Brothers does.
I guess it's just the store. You just straight up buy them or rent them, right?
Yeah.
From the PlayStation Store, yeah.
So I mean, Sony doesn't have any kind of place for their movies, because Disney has Hulu and Disney Plus, which I mean, I guess 20th Century Fox fits into that mold just the same.
A little bit. Yeah.
Universal, I don't really know who they don't have. Maybe they don't have one either. I don't know.
I don't know. I know I saw Paramount has their
Paramount
own
has
now.
Paramount Plus. So everybody
Yeah.
kind of has their own little bubble. Well, Sony cut a deal with Netflix. And so they're just like, so all of our movies are going to go over here. So in
I actually
2022,
appreciate that. Please
Yeah.
put it on services I already have.
so in 2022,
Please.
you'll
Yeah.
start to see all these movies. So like Uncharted, the next Spider-Man film,
yeah.
whatever big movies they got coming, they're going to go
Ooh,
to
yeah.
Netflix.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. No, I didn't see that they had cut a deal. Interesting. Ooh, okay. I'm excited to see what comes out of that now.
But that's smart. That's a smart move. It's
Yeah.
like, do we want to start our own service, or just work with
Go
someone
to where
who
the
already
people
has?
are, man.
Yeah, they're established. And Sony, I mean, what do you have that? Just go with someone that's already out there. Just work with them.
I agree with you. Let's
I'm
do
like
it.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't make
thank
me
you,
pay
jeez.
for another one. Thank you.
I keep seeing all the new ones pop up, and I'm like, there's just so much I'm never going to see. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not
Nope.
doing it. Dear Lord. All right. Deathloop was also delayed, which was the PS5 exclusive game. It was supposed to be out in May. Now we're looking at September 14th of this year. I think, again, we've been saying that's what's going to look like. And I think Cyberpunk might have taught everybody another lesson this year to just, okay, maybe waiting's a good thing. Oh my God, did you see this? Pac-Man 99 is now a thing.
I
So looks like a variation. If you have a Switch, you might have played Tetris 99, which is a battle royale Tetris game, right?
Right.
Well, now you can do that with Pac-Man, and it looked really kind of fun. If you have a Switch and you have their online service, it's available for you as of April 7th. But yeah, you just get to play a different variation of Pac-Man, and you got the other people on the screen, and it's like a battle to the finish out of 99 people down to 1. I thought it looked cute.
I might give it a
If you
go.
were into Pac-Man, a little variation of the game there to play and make it battle royale. I like Tetris 99 way more than I thought I would. And I didn't play it for
Yeah.
very long, but the weekend I got addicted to it. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually enjoying this. Because it's battle royale, but you don't feel like it is. I still feel like I'm just playing my own thing. With people, of course, dumping on me from time to time. Oh, and an update on the Sealed Mario Brothers game that we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Care to take a guess on the final amount?
Oh God. What was it? What was the last tally? Wasn't
I
it
think
like
it was 330,000 last time we talked. Yeah.
for whatever reason 300,000 was stuck in my head? So I cannot imagine it was $1 million. So I'm gonna say 600,000.
You're really close. $660,000 is what it ended up going for. Yeah.
Okay.
You can go check it out over at the esrb.org blog if you don't believe me. But congratulations to whoever owned that game.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, that's a good payday for sure. I can make that last me quite a while. More delays. Mortal Kombat was pushed back, the movie, from April 16th to now the 23rd. So not huge. Just a little bit. So you were supposed to next week or this week, I guess, and then now it's next.
I was looking forward to watching it next week, but I also feel like maybe there was a reason for it, because I felt like a lot of days were starting to get like
people were on top of each other.
Yeah, like I feel like there was more happening next week than just Mortal Kombat. Like there was something else coming out too, and maybe it was just like, you know what, just shift it back a week, and that way there's a.
And then they didn't want to conflict with each other.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but it's kind of like May 26th. It felt like everything came out on May 26th.
Yeah,
it did,
and it did. Yeah.
No, you know what? We'll save it.
We'll
just
save
keep
it.
going.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save it.
If you are a fan of Super Meat Boy, you will now be offered it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One this month, whereas before it was only on the Switch. So there you go. That was a big game, big deal. People love that platformer. It looked way too brutal for me.
Yeah, it was
in a rage machine.
I played it for a little while, and I was just like, okay.
The stress, yeah, it starts to get to be too much. Let's see here. Ooh, retail sales of Super Mario 3D on the Switch has now surpassed total sales of the Wii U original in Japan.
Nice.
That's 14 months of sales, according to the article, outdone in 8 weeks. I wonder how many actually paid too much for it off of eBay, though.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, no. When I'm looking at those numbers, I was like, dear Lord. I showed you some of those off the eBay, right? Like the instant they announced they were discontinuing it, like how much people were already trying to sell it for. And right next to it, you could still buy it from the store for $35. I was like, you guys are jumping a little too quickly at this. Let the supplies deplete before you expect somebody to pay $15,000 for this damn game. But let's see. Last little quick I have here. PlayStation actually could be planning to expand its games into the mobile market. We got another jobs listing that was looking for head of mobile at PlayStation Studios. So they're looking for someone to own and develop the mobile game strategy for PlayStation Studios and be responsible for building and scaling a team of mobile leaders, and will serve as the head of this new business unit within PlayStation Studios. But the part of the article that was interesting to me is it also mentions a particular focus on successfully adapting PlayStation's most popular franchises for mobile. Mm-hmm. Which do you think they would try to get to mobile? Do you think a little God of War action on mobile, or yeah?
Well, I'm trying to think of something a little more, because God of War would, not to say it's niche, but I guess they need a wider appeal character. So someone like Crash Bandicoot or Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah,
like that, like a runner or some game like that.
Oh yeah, runners would work out beautifully.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, God of War could work too.
I'd be curious to see like what big popular franchises that they've first got their eye on here. I hope it's Days Gone, because that would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
After all of this. Anywho, all right, that's all I have for the quickest, but I do have one weird news that I thought was kind of adorable, and you might have read it, but he's got a quicket.
I got one little quicket, because this was one of those things that came out, and I even had to double check, because like you, the timing on it was like
something's off.
But I'm almost positive this is real.
Okay.
Maneater DLC.
Oh yeah.
Truth Quest. Did you see it? Did you see the trailer?
I did not.
They had a trailer and everything.
I probably should follow it. I don't even follow the game, so I didn't know a new trailer came out. I am garbage.
But it came out on April 1st. That's why.
The day I gave up on trying to write news, I'm like,
I was doing like this, but I was just like, you went through all this to make a trailer with Chris Parnell, new gameplay footage. If this is a lie, then wow, that's a very expensive, April Fool's joke. But it seems to be confirmed. Truth
Okay.
Quest, DLC, Maneater. I'm excited. And it seems
When's
like
it
this.
supposed to hit? May?
They just said summer, so
okay.
sometime in the next couple of months. And it seems to be like, I guess you're going to go after the Illuminati? I don't know. Don't ask me.
This whole game.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
just bizarre.
I really need to try it one day. 'Cause
Yeah,
it just
do.
sounds so ridiculous.
Hey,
It just
you're a
sounds
shark
over the-
eating shit. What more do you want?
Yeah, that's true.
It's
I guess
so
I'll have to
fun.
wait for a sale.
Yeah,
Wait
please
for a
do.
sale.
Please just
Yeah.
give it a go. It
If nothing
sounds
else for
so
the
simple.
lulz.
Yeah.
For the lulz. It really
Anyway,
does sound like
continue
it could be
with your-
interesting.
I just
But
wanted
yeah,
to-
some weird news or just cool news. I don't know. But this week, I saw an article about the Neuralink, which is a neurotechnology company founded by Elon Musk in 2016. But this week, they unveiled its latest breakthrough, which was a monkey that can play Pong with its brain. I watched this. This is okay. So watching the video to go along with this is highly recommended. So I definitely would tell all of you, go check this out and watch it. It's like 3.5 minutes. But in the first part of the video, the monkey goes up to a screen. It's got their nice little setup going on. It has a joystick attached to it on the right-hand side. And there's also like a metal tube or whatever that the monkey would put his mouth on. Okay. So the whole point is that you see on the screen, there's like an orange box and a ball, and he's moving that ball to the orange box, right?
Okay.
So he's motivated by the banana smoothie blend that's coming out of the little tube, of course. But that device is more than just a treat provider. It's also how it's calibrated, which is, as they put it in the models, the relationship between the patterns of the neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce gets calibrated through your mouth. So in this case, the monkey's mouth. So initially, the monkey did have the neural links attached to its head. And come to find out, the monkey was actually moving it with his mind. So eventually in the video, they show the joystick. He's still moving it, but it's no longer plugged in. And the ball is still going into the orange square with him he's still using the joystick. So the monkey's not even realizing it has nothing to do with that anymore. But the movement was happening from his brain. And he's not a half bad Pong player when they upped it to Pong, where they were actually playing Pong. Like, dear Lord. But the overall goal of this technology is actually what's more fascinating to me. It's supposed to help enable people with paralysis to be able to use a computer or phone with their brain activity alone, because they wouldn't be able to use the joystick. They would calibrate the decoder by imagining hand movements to the target. And of course, since it's Elon, the long-term goals was that first, the Neuralink product will enable someone with paralysis, like I just said, people who can't use the thumbs and everything. But later versions will be able to shunt signals from the neural links in the brain to neural links in the body for motor and sensory, thus enabling paraplegics to walk again. This device is implanted flush with skull and recharges wirely, so you look and feel totally normal. And I will keep my eye on that because that's a huge goal. We're not even sure that is what it could come. But just the fact that I saw how this technology works with just the monkey's mind, how amazing that could open up more independent freedoms for people who right now can't. And I think
look,
that's what's fascinating.
Say what you want about the man. That's some sci-fi stuff right there that would be amazing.
Right?
If he could make that work. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Oh, good God, yeah. And he's got the money to do it, man. Research away.
Yeah. I would love to see something like that happen and benefit mankind and hopefully keep the government out of it to where they can't nickel and dime the shit out of people.
True.
For the very simple fact of wanting to walk again. Like, you're in an accident and you become paralyzed. You didn't ask for that.
Right.
You didn't do anything to be put in that position. It was called...
And being rich or poor shouldn't matter
accident.
whether you get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if he can develop something in an affordable way and these people can walk again or even function in some capacity more than they are now, I'd love to see it.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on this one because just watching that video alone with the monkey was wow.
Yeah.
Because once they unplugged the joystick and it was still going. So we're getting somewhere with it. What it ends up being, keep an eye on that space and we'll see. But that's all of the interesting news that I had seen this week that I felt the need to share. So I don't know if I missed anything else you want to mention before we go on to our headliner for the day.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. All right.
Not a thing.
All right.
Now, as far as
no
a headliner,
headliner.
I have nothing either.
Oh, okay.
You know, because like I said, I've been feeling like garbage, and I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I don't feel like doing anything. So I mean, I can just talk some more about things that interest me. Because
Either way.
I mean, I did have one or two other things I could talk about real quick. You know, and I'm sorry, people, if you were looking for a headliner. I did not feel good this week.
It happens.
Damn it.
It's not like, I'm looking at the time, it's not like we were lack of giving you a light show. We're already at an hour 20. So
I'll tell you what. I'll throw in two more things, suggestions, or if you've not seen them or what have you. So first of all, have you seen Invincible?
Yes. Actually, I kept meaning to ask you if you'd been watching it.
Yeah.
Yes. I
How
love
about
it.
that show?
I love it. More than I thought I would.
I know. That's the beauty of it. So, if you've not seen it, okay, here's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can. The premise seems very simple. Okay? A young boy who knows that he's special or meant to be special. His father is a superhero. And he knows his father's a superhero.
Yeah.
He's waiting for his time to come, that his powers are gonna kick in. And finally they do. So then his dad tries to help him become, the hero he's meant to be and try to train him. Sounds all simple, right? Mm-hmm. Just wait for it. That's all I'm gonna say.
People, watch the first episode.
Yeah. If you're not in by the end of the first
Don't
episode,
spoil nothing.
no.
But
That's all you got.
My reaction at the end of that one, you gotta watch it to understand. It did not go the way I thought at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It really didn't,
And
I'm enjoying it so much now.
I went in I knew the character, I knew the comics to a point, but I've never read them. I knew of them. I knew Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead, was involved.
Right. And I knew Stephen Young was involved. I feel like I heard him in an interview talk about it before. But anyway, continue.
And I through another podcast that I listened to, they talk about comic books, and they talked about Invincible before, so I was aware of the twist. There's a twist. Yeah. I'll just say that to a degree. I was aware something was going to go down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, certain elements, but I'm still intrigued. There's still so much I don't know. I'm still asking questions, despite knowing something was going to happen. I still have questions. So for anybody, if you're kind of familiar with it, or maybe you feel like, well, if I know there's something happening, you're still going to have questions, because I can hypothesize all day, but I still feel like there's something I'm missing, or something that we're not being told.
We still got a few episodes left, right? I don't know how many is supposed to be in this first season.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to assume.
What are we at?
5
now? 5, 6, 5?
Yeah.
5.
So I would assume this will probably be one of those short run, maybe 10,
6,
12,
maybe even 8. I would believe.
Maybe 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So check out Invincible. I highly recommend it. It's solid. It's really
I
really
went
solid.
into it knowing nothing about it, so
that's even better.
Oh God, and the Hubs just, I guess, enjoyed watching me because he had already seen them 3 episodes, and we were looking for something to watch because I would totally watch it again if you want to get into this show. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And then so I think it was fun for him watching someone who had no idea experience that first episode, because I just looked at him like, I felt very confused.
Yeah.
In a good way. So I do recommend it. And what's his name? Melikanakis, but I always say his name wrong.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I love
can't remember
him.
his last name. Yeah.
I love him, and he voices one of the characters too. And it's just every time he's in something, I have a good time.
As soon as I heard his voice, I was just like,
oh yeah,
I know,
you can't.
I know him.
That's him. Yeah.
And then it was just like Big Mouth. That's where I know him from.
Oh yeah, see, he also does this other podcast. It was about movies. Is it How Did This Get Made?
Sounds
I want to
about
say
right.
he's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it, and then but it's like a podcast he does in front of a live audience. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're still recording it that same way now, of course, but hilarious.
Yeah.
So I do recommend that. It's gonna bother me until I remember his name. So continue.
You're right on
Jason Mantzoukas.
Mantzoukas.
I said Jason Melikanakis or something like that. So Mantzoukas.
Mantzoukas. Okay.
Adding all these extra letters that don't need to do it. But yeah, love him. Love him.
What else? Falcon and Winter Soldier. You been watching it?
I hadn't watched that yet. No,
Okay.
ashamedly. But
I
I
would
do want to.
I don't want
Is
to
it
say
fun?
that. Oh yeah, no. I mean, if you liked the Captain America movies at all,
I keep hearing the hubbub about the new guy that people don't like for whatever reason.
Well, in typical internet fashion, they ran him off the internet.
Oh, did he really? He got off?
Because people were, shitting on him, death threats and all that.
He's an actor, for Christ's sake, people. Stop thinking this is real life. Stop it.
Furthermore, for those who hate on him, who's like, you're not my Captain America. If you know the comics, John Walker was Captain America briefly and then became another character. Whatever you call it. He took on another identity. So he doesn't
persona
remain,
of
he
the same
doesn't
thing.
remain Captain America. He's a kind of Captain America.
We've really lost our imagination these days.
Yeah.
It's like we can't envision another actor pretending to be a fictional character. Really?
I hate
These actors these days, I tell you what, like you can't just be an actor anymore. You have to actually be the character. You're not allowed to do it.
Yeah. I will say, story-wise, the way they've been laying it all out, I mean, it's great. Good stuff. The Bucky stuff and even the Sam's, both characters, the way they're being handled, they're both dealing with different aspects of their lives, and it just makes it's nice seeing them fleshed out. It's not just, these were both Captain America sidekicks or whatever. No, it's like, no. They have real problems in the real world. And we're having to see how they all lay out because, Sam, he's trying to, he's people know who he is, and he's trying to do work for the government, just try to pay the bills, but because I guess he's kind of an Avenger, but not, it doesn't pay the bills. They even addressed that. There was like a scene where he's trying to get a loan from the bank.
Like public service.
Yeah.
You're going to be broke trying to do it.
So it was like trying to help his sister get a loan for her business that was like a family-run business or whatever, and they're in a bank. And he's talking to the guy. He's like, well, don't you have any money from the Avengers? He's like, that doesn't really kind of work that way. This is kind of like good faith kind of thing. Doesn't really pay anything per se, You're just like, well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? But you'd think they would, I mean,
you would think. They probably have the money to do it.
Tony Stark funded the damn thing. You'd think he could have given him a paycheck.
Right? Give me a break.
Or at least some sort of pension plan, or I don't know.
Anything to take care of your people.
Yeah. But
Take care of them, damn it.
that was, little interesting bits that they've kind of thrown in there like that. Plus, and I've heard criticisms of this too, but I also feel like they're handling it in a way that needs to work for this show. They're addressing certain elements of racism without blatantly being like, look, racism, and shoving it in your face. And I guess some people on the internet feel like, well, you've got to shove it in their face. You got to say it. It's like, no, they're being subtle about it.
I think we need to just stop listening to the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly.
Well, I mean, there's no sense in throwing it out, like shoving it down your throat. I mean, if you're being subtle about it,
that's not how it is in reality, anyway.
For example, there was a scene where Bucky and Sam kind of got into an argument on a public street and kind of a neighborhood, if you will, and the cops show up. And who do you think they go for first when they're starting to interrogate?
Yeah.
And it's things like that. They didn't point it out. They didn't be like, "Oh, this is being racist." It's just like,
it's a painful
this
reality.
is how it is.
Yeah.
And they went at it just the way it would play out. And then, it got resolved, but whatever. It played out exactly the way it would in real life. That is about as subtle as it could be without just saying racism.
But still enough for you to notice, like, wait, something's wrong here.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Wrong. Yeah.
So little things like that. They're touching on things that genuinely happen. And I appreciate that they're not skirting the whole situation, because they could. They could just be like, well, we don't have to, that won't happen.
Sure.
That won't happen. Of course it'll happen.
Well, you're in your fictional world. I guess you can write it however you want.
Yeah.
But
I've even heard rumors, and I heard this rumor this week, that there may have been, and I don't know this to be confirmed, but there may have been a virus subplot in the show that they scrubbed out.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
Right. Yeah. The timing of it all.
Yeah, I was just like, no. We don't need to talk about that. So that I appreciate. But again, you don't have to Planet of the Apes is a great example, if I may, talking about problems in the real world, but doing it in a satirical way, using metaphors to point out all the issues of the world of the time through social commentary of this fictional world.
That too. Yeah.
But it's all there. You don't have to be, you'd have to be blind not to see what they're pointing out. The hypocrisy of all these different factions and all these different people, and the racism of the time, and everything in the 60s that was happening. They were just like, here, this is exactly everything that's going on. Here's the mirror. Just because it's fictional doesn't mean we're not speaking truth right now.
Right.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're saying what needs to be said without openly saying it.
And hopefully making it digestible for
a
regular human to sit down and watch and hopefully get the nuances of it.
Because not everybody needs that stuff shoved down their throat. So anyway, I appreciate that. The story's been good, and I really like the guy playing the new Captain America.
I'll have to watch it now to give it a fair shake. I have no opinion right now, but
I was curious how they were going to handle his character, because I know who the character John Walker is in the comics, and I know that...
You know what could be coming?
I know exactly the type of person he is, and they're definitely taking him in that direction. The last episode, the way that ended, I was like, oh, damn. They went there,
I
didn't
got to
they?
get on it.
So I'll just say that. I don't want to touch you more than that. A lot of great little Easter eggs and references to stuff like that. I know this is like a comic deep cut. Your husband may pick up on it. I missed it the first time around because I was a little distracted with other things going on, and I hated myself that I didn't catch it. They introduced a very big Marvel Comics city in here called Madripoor, and the reason it's big is a lot of X-Men adventures happen here, especially with Wolverine. And it was just like, hey, there's this place we're going, Madripoor, and it's like,
he might have, and then wouldn't have thought to bring it up to me or whatever. Yeah. But what's interesting about, like, you're more Marvel, so that's why every time we're watching a Marvel thing, he asks me to ask you a question, since he knows you read the comics, and he was way more into DC growing up, reading the comics. So it's interesting, but he's way into the MCU more than the DCU, I guess. Like, he just likes the way they're telling the cinematic universe better than DC had been. But
it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. I enjoy the cinematic universe. I never read the comics, but I'm enjoying them. I think they're fun stories, and I think they're told in a good way, and I think it's fun.
And you're getting the I guess, a Cliff's Notes version of things that happen. I mean, they don't happen exactly as they happen in the comics, but I mean, they're
You got to keep people interested who imbibe both mediums.
yeah, and I think it works. I think it satisfies elements for longtime readers and then newbies who don't know anything. Like, oh, that's the thing, and it's like, yeah, but this is where it comes from,
right? I will admit, I'm sure for those longtime fans, it definitely can hit a different way.
Oh yeah, but it's still so cool just to see it. Like, just even when they dropped Thanos in the first Avengers movie, I was like, because I knew, like, for me, seeing that it was him, I was just like, I know where this is headed. And I expected the next movie to be the Infinity Gauntlet thing. I didn't expect them to, lead up to it like as their finale, which made more sense. I was like, you can't rush that. You can't rush that. No. So I'm glad they did against what I thought, but still, it's just cool.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. And Disney's been killing it with those things. They got one Loki coming too, right?
Oh,
yeah.
There's so many things I saw.
I saw it. I was like, as soon as WandaVision was done, it felt like then I just kept hearing about more, and I'm like, hey, all right.
Did you watch that last trailer they dropped for Loki?
I haven't.
Oh my God.
No, is there another one?
Well, there was a scene in there, and I know I saw it. I mean, like something similar to it the first time, and you can see it in the trailer. And if it's not what I think it is, and I'm gonna say it. This isn't spoilers. It's in the trailer. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting it.
So it's in the trailer, and this is Steven's thoughts.
He goes to see Black Widow, like on Vormir. That looks like Vormir, the planet where she died.
Uh-huh.
I'm almost positive it's her and him sitting together, and it's like my mind is like, what is going on here?
What alternate universe is this?
Yeah, like how? What? Huh? So I don't know. I'm just, from what I saw, that's what I'm taking away from it. He goes to see her. Now, why? How?
Nice tease then, because now you want to know, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Because
they did their job.
That's a big question. Like, that raises so many questions. Like, he not only is he skipping time or whatever, but he's on a whole nother planet.
Yeah.
So, what is going on?
I gotta go watch it. Yeah.
So, anyway, all right. So, I've nerded out. You guys are probably tired of it. So, how about we just wrap up the show? But
there we go. Excellent. Well, hopefully you all enjoyed our tomfoolery, as always.
Yeah.
We enjoy putting on the tomfoolery for you. So that's our show. Of course, as you know, I'm going to remind you that you can hit us up sometime on Twitter at SuperMegaCrash, or send an email to supermegacrash@gmail.com. Send an email. Nerd out with us about Disney Plus stuff maybe now. Who knows, You can find us over on Instagram to view our weekly icon art that Steven puts his time and love into. You can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred platform, and you can even go to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. You can tell your friends to find us on the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, or search Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on your preferred platform: Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and you can even go to youtube.com/Pencil Paper Productions. Thank you so much for listening. I am Licia Finley.
And I am Stephen White.
And you can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.